Jagging off Jets and Johnny Venerable. Ooh, welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave us a 5-star review. I am back. I am Shane Diefenbach, and I'm joined as always by Johnny Venerable. How are you feeling?
Good, Shannon. Did you do some gambling in Vegas, or did you just kind of see the sights?
Just saw the sights, walked around, breathed the fresh air. Yeah, that's it.
Debatable.
That's all I did.
The fresh, lingering smell of cigars and stale food and
sadness, depression.
Bankruptcy. But now you're back, and you're here to make hopefully some people some money on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back. We got a weird game tonight. A Jags team that's getting hot at the right moment, and a Jets team that is starting a quarterback that may not be in the NFL much longer. As it's trending right now in Zach Wilson. Lots of stuff to unpack. Johnny, what's the key matchup tonight in the game?
Well, I mean, you look at Jacksonville. They've won 3 of 4, a couple in dramatic fashion, right? That win against Dallas last week is about as good as it gets. And I think the Jets were so dependent early on their defense, but Breece Hall and Elijah Vera Tucker going down has really made them, coupled with the fact that they've got injuries to Flacco and Mike White, completely one-dimensional. And so I would say the matchup tonight is, can the Jaguars and their linebackers contain the running game for the Jets enough to force Zach Wilson and company 3rd and long, 3rd and 6, 7, 8, where he just has not found success? I think that, the Jets are obviously going to want to try to run the ball, and the Cowboys had decent success last week against the Jaguars. But to me, if you force the Jets to play from behind, kind of like the Lions did a couple of weeks back, I think you're going to be in a position where you're going to be able to tee off on this Jets team that I think is, they were 7-4 at one point. This is closer to who they are. 2 of their best players are out for the year. Would it shock you if the Jets lost out? It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. There's some key injuries. Obviously, Cam Robinson with the Jags, and then Quinn Williams is questionable tonight. We'll see. That'd be huge if he could play for the Jets. I expect a close one. I think this game is going to be really fun. I expect some points. So, Johnny, I know you expect some points too. And I think I know where you're going with this. I think you're going to be jagging off, aren't you?
I am. I'm jagging off in a big way with the Jags money line, which is, I think, as we get closer to the game, it's going to become a pick'em. It's -2.5 right now for the Jets. I think that is only because they expect a little bit of wind, inclement weather. But Travis Etienne is approaching 1,000 yards. They can run the football. Like this Jaguar team is not soft in the sense that they can't play, a couple different ways and beat you offensively. So I plus money on the Jags, hell yes, against the team that's lost 3 straight. And I like the over in this game. Jags defense is what it is. I do think the Jets will find their way into maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns, and that'll be about it. But I think the Jags have a chance, goodness, to almost reach 30 points tonight. I am that bullish on what I've seen from Trevor Lawrence and company against a really good Dan Quinn-led Cowboys defense last week. They had their way. You take away Trevor Lawrence's fumble, but just being careless in the open field, like they could have put even more tutties on the Dallas Cowboys last week. So Doug Peterson, man, good coach. Who would have thought? Guy won a Super Bowl with Philadelphia, their first ever, and was inexplicably fired. And now look what he's done in Jacksonville.
Yeah. I think that was a total coach's win last week. I don't want to take anything away from Trevor Lawrence because he's been amazing.
No, I agree with that.
He's been so great, but I think they just found that right scheme to beat a really aggressive Cowboys defense. And I think they got a different type of defense to face tonight with the Jets. Lots more man or about the same amount of man, but different type of man. Not selling out, leaving your corners on an island. This is going to be a fun game, and we're going to see what Trevor Lawrence, and this is probably Zach Wilson's last chance to win a starting job. So
You think it's that catastrophic where like they won't flip him for like a third in the offseason to a team that maybe is looking down the line, has an older quarterback? You think it's like as dire as he could be out of football?
No, not out of football, but I think he's going to be a backup quarterback next year. Like I just don't see him starting anywhere. I mean, I haven't seen anything. It's just his decision making, his leadership, and just overall talent. His arm talent was phenomenal in college and great at the combine. People were excited. And where has that been? Is it scheme? Is it because he's not getting the opportunity? We don't know, but it isn't good. And when you can't pick up, as you said, these 3rd and 5, these gimmies with 2 really good receivers and a potential third in Corey Davis, we kind of have a problem here. With all of that being said, though, I'm taking the Jets tonight, man. It just feels that way. I have no reason to believe that the Jaguars are going to slow down, but for some reason, I do. This Jets team has surprised me all year, and I know they've lost a ton lately, but it just feels like, Johnny, what was that game? What was the Jaguars win? It was big and emotional. It was a big emotional win in overtime on a pick 6. It's time for a letdown spot, but I like the over. I like the over 37. This game's going to be close. It's going to be really fun. I think the Jets end up winning this game. But I don't know how. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm thinking dunk.
It's a bold strategy. We'll see what happens. I think the Jaguars jump out to a quick lead, and then maybe the Jets defense tightens up. But I think it's going to be one of those games where we're going to look up. It's 14-0 in the first quarter, and the Jaguars are up.
Wow. All right. Well, if you want to make some bets on this game, you can do it on the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers can use that promo code PHNX, bet $5 on any NFL or NBA team's money line, and if they win their game, you get $150 in free bets when you sign up using that promo code PHNX. Johnny, how was your week of gambling while I was gone?
Solid. Actually, I did really, really well on Friday. We reviewed the picks on Monday, and things went well for me. And then I've done decent on my NBA picks this week. Anxious for bowl season, college football bowl season. Talked a little bit about MLB futures earlier in the week. Shawnee and I did in regard to the Carlos Correa debacle, which was just hilarious. I mean, that's great. That's great drama. That deal going down at about 2 a.m. and changing the landscape of the NL in a good and bad way. Man, the San Francisco Giants are just a joke. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of watching the Wagon Bowl yesterday. My team, South Alabama, against my other team, Western Kentucky. I love bowl season. I hate the Bulls. I think they mean nothing, but when it comes to betting on it, love it so much. Use that promo code PHNX, download DraftKings Sportsbook app, $5 on any NBA or NFL team's money line, get $150 in free bets if the team that you bet on wins. That's promo code PHNX this week only at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions do apply, and see those show notes for more details. Told you I don't really know how they're going to get it done tonight with the Jets, but I think a couple things happen. We'll go ahead and pull up my props. Bam Zonovan Bam Knight is not fully healthy, which means Michael Carter could start. This was a guy who was getting the majority of the carries at the start of the year. This is a guy who was really good last year as well. And when Breece Hall went down, he picked up the slack. I think he gets more carries tonight because of the injury to Bam Knight. And I'm taking him to score anytime at plus 270 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Love that so much. I also like Garrett Wilson. Look, when you don't have a great quarterback, you rely on your playmakers. Garrett Wilson is the definition of a playmaker. I think he's the most talented player on this roster. And I'm taking his over on receptions at 4.5. You get that at plus money. I could see him going for seven receptions tonight. I think he has like upwards of 15 targets by the end of the night, because I could see them playing from behind. But in terms of sunshine, Mr. T-Law, I like him to rush tonight. I think he gets forced out of the pocket. They get creative with their blitzing. Saleh's going to get aggressive, and he's going to have to bounce a couple times. He's looking pretty good on his legs. So I like his over on rushing yards at 12.5 right now, minus 110.
Like all those. I think Michael Carter, if the Jets score, it's going to be with Michael Carter on the ground. I don't see Zach Wilson doing a GD thing through the year, but I think Trevor Lawrence is in for a big night. I think we're in the period of time where Trevor Lawrence is damn near coronated as a top 10 NFL quarterback entering the offseason. Christian Kirk, anytime touchdown plus 255. Don't like it. Love it. I think he toasts Sauce Gardner tonight.
Wow.
Sauce, he's lost on the sauce of his Pro Bowl berth. And I think Christian Kirk, he's got a pretty good chance of hitting 1,000 yards receiving tonight. It's under 100. It's going to put him over the century mark for the first time in his career. So if you want to tease up his receiving yards with a parlay on his anytime touchdown, I like that. I also like Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 passing TDs. This feels like free money at plus 140. The Jets defense outside of Sauce Gardner was picked apart by Jared Goff, and Trevor Lawrence is hot. And speaking of hot, Jags over and total TDs, parlay these two together. That's a lot of fun because if one hits, the other hits. Fun, fun, fun with Jags. December dollars. You love to see it.
Yeah, I like him. Do we think Zay Jones's dominance continues?
What do you mean? Like, let me look up Zay Jones's numbers this year. I think
the last couple weeks he's been crazy.
I liked him a lot coming out of East Carolina. I'm not just saying that when Buffalo took him, and I think he fell in that weird transition area where it was Tyrod Taylor and Josh Allen really couldn't throw yet. And now he's with Trevor and Doug, and they're putting him in really good positions to succeed. Yeah, I don't know. He's got an outside shot this year to hit 1,000 yards receiving. Jags could have 1,000-yard back and 2,000-yard receivers. It's nuts.
He found his spot on the Raiders last year. I thought he was pretty solid last year too. I really like him.
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's
yeah,
true. I just remember people were calling him an outright bust with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I disagree with that. Anything else before we get out of here?
Carolina's got great universe. PHNX Cardinals audio only podcast dropped today. We had a double header last night. If you joined us, Michael Bidwell said the F word on Hard Knocks. Listen to the pod today and think and understand what Bo and I think it means. But he said people are cutting corners. What does that mean? It means Cliff Kingsbury, not a good leader.
We started bets a little bit late today because Johnny had some commitments. He was doing some charity work. And here's a picture of it, just donating some money to DraftKings. What is that? Is that a little pig?
Yeah, so this farm near where we live in Maricopa, there are some positives living in the Copa. Had some pigs that needed some food, so we brought homemade popcorn and apples and carrots for these piglets and made a donation. So it's good to give back. My kids are going to get a gross amount of Christmas presents, and so they need to be humble.
Wait, were you actually? That was actually for charity?
Yeah.
I love that, Johnny. I was just kind of making that up. Like, good for you. What a good man. Good people, good money, good bets right here on the PHNX Daily.
I got pecked by an emu though on my.
I hate emus. I hate any big birds at all. They're the worst. You follow me on Twitter at Shane D. If you can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. Follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. We're here every Monday through Friday at noon on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and tune in tomorrow for our Saturday and Christmas picks in the NFL. But until next time. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace, love, and you got anything? Piglets. Peace, love, and piglets.